Snow swirled outside the frosted bay window of our living room, catching the glow from the multicolored lights strung along the eaves. Emily stood by the Christmas tree we'd decorated together just 2 weeks earlier, arms folded tight across her chest, staring at the half-wrapped presents scattered on the coffee table. "You promised you'd handle the gifts for your own family this year," she said, voice low but edged with exhaustion. "I've been running around since November, planning the dinner, coordinating with my parents, baking for the office party, and now I'm supposed to wrap everything for your sisters too?" I set my laptop bag down by the door, snow melting off my boots onto the mat. The 12-hour day at the firm had left me drained, but I could hear the weeks of built-up resentment in every word. "I'm sorry," I said, keeping my tone even. "Work blew up with the year-end audits. I thought we agreed I'd take care of them this weekend." "This weekend is Christmas Eve," she snapped. "Your mom expects those packages under her tree when we drive up on the 24th. You think I want to spend the night before Christmas wrapping scarves and books like some elf while you sleep?" I rubbed the back of my neck, feeling the knot that had lived there since Thanksgiving. "Okay, I'll stay up tonight and finish them. Just tell me what you bought and where the paper is." Her laugh was short and bitter. "That's exactly the problem, Ryan. You want instructions. A checklist. You never just see what needs doing and do it. You wait until I spell it out, and then it feels like I'm managing you." I remembered last Christmas, her curled on the couch with the flu, fever burning, while I drove through a blizzard to pick up medicine, made soup, canceled our plans so she could rest. She'd whispered that night that I was the most thoughtful man she'd ever known. That memory felt distant now, like it belonged to different people. "I'm trying," I said quietly. "I know the holidays are a lot for you. If I'm missing something bigger, help me understand what it is." She turned fully toward me then, cheeks flushed from the heat of the fireplace and something colder. The room smelled of pine and cinnamon from the candles she loved, but the warmth didn't reach her eyes. "You want me to explain it?" she asked, voice dropping. "Fine. You want the truth laid out plain." I nodded, bracing myself. "Yes, I do." She stepped closer, the fairy lights reflecting in her narrowed eyes. "My ex, Connor. He knew how to make the holidays feel magical without being asked. He'd surprise me with little things, plan things that showed he actually paid attention to what made me happy. You're predictable, reliable, but there's no spark, Ryan. No romance. Sometimes I feel like I'm living with a very competent roommate instead of a fiancé." The words landed like ice water poured straight down my spine. Spark. Romance. Things I thought we'd had in abundance once. I saw flashes, her laughing as we picked out this very tree, her kissing me under the mistletoe I'd hung in the doorway last year, her saying I made her feel safe in a way no one else ever had. All of it suddenly felt counterfeit that I didn't respond. Couldn't. The air felt too thick, the twinkling lights too bright. She watched me, waiting for the explosion or the pleading or the desperate promises. Instead, I felt something inside me go perfectly still, without a word. I walked past her to the hallway closet, pulled out my large suitcase, the one we'd taken on our trip to Vermont last winter, and carried it to our bedroom. "What are you doing?" she called, following me. Her voice carried the first hint of uncertainty. I opened the dresser, took out jeans, sweaters, socks, everything I'd need for a while. I folded nothing, just placed them inside with deliberate calm. "Ryan, stop. You're being ridiculous." I moved to the bathroom, gathered my toothbrush, razor, medications. Back in the bedroom, I unplugged my laptop charger, slipped my tablet into its case. She stood in the doorway now, blocking half of it. "So you're just going to leave? Over one fight? It's almost Christmas." I zipped the suitcase. The sound cut through the quiet house like a blade. I looked at her, really looked, and felt an enormous, echoing emptiness where the love had been moments before. "Move, please," I said, voice level. No, her chin lifted, defiant, but her eyes were starting to shine. We're not done talking. There's nothing left to say. She searched my face for the familiar hurt, the anger she could work with, the man who would stay and fight because losing her was unthinkable. She found only calm detachment. After a long moment, she stepped aside and I wheeled the suitcase down the hall, grabbed my coat from the hook by the door, my keys from the bowl decorated with painted snowflakes. The porch light illuminated the falling snow as I opened the door. "If you leave now, don't bother coming back for Christmas," she said behind me, voice trembling between fury and fear. I didn't answer. I pulled the door closed softly and walked into the storm. The drive through the quiet suburban streets felt surreal. Christmas lights blurred past. Reindeer on lawns, candles in windows, families I would never be part of tonight. I found a small inn on the edge of town, the kind with a vacancy sign glowing red against the snow. I checked in, paid for a week, carried my suitcase up the narrow stairs to a room that smelled faintly of cedar and old carpet. I sat on the edge of the bed in the dark, watching snow pile against the window. My phone stayed silent for almost an hour. Then it began. First calls, then texts. "Emily, where are you? It's snowing hard. Come home so we can talk." "Emily, I'm sorry I said that about Connor. I was angry. You know I didn't mean it." "Emily, please just let me know you're safe." I read them without replying. Each one felt like an echo from a life that had already ended. I turned the phone face down and slept in my clothes, the first full night's sleep I'd had in months. Morning light revealed a world blanketed white. I showered, dressed, and drove to a coffee shop that was mercifully open. Over a black coffee, I made decisions with the clarity of someone who had nothing left to lose. I emailed my boss requesting immediate remote work for the rest of the year, citing a personal emergency. He approved within minutes. Holiday slowdown meant flexibility. I found a furnished loft apartment downtown, available for monthly rental starting immediately. I paid the deposit online. Then I hired a discreet moving service specialized in sensitive separations. I scheduled them for the day after Christmas, when she'd be at her parents' house for the traditional post-holiday brunch. I emailed detailed instructions. Pack only items belonging to Ryan Keller, leave anything joint or gifted by her, deliver to new address. I felt no guilt, only efficiency. The texts continued over the next days. "Emily, your mom called. I didn't know what to tell her." "Emily, this is insane. We've been together 4 years. You're throwing it away because I was upset." "Emily, fine. Be cold. Connor always said you were emotionally unavailable. Maybe he was right. That one told me everything. She'd already reached out to him. The man she'd used as a weapon was now her sounding board." I didn't reply. Christmas Eve came. I spent it alone in the loft, eating takeout Chinese while a classic holiday movie played silently on the television. The silence was vast and strangely comforting. On Christmas morning, a text from our mutual friend Lauren arrived. "Lauren, hey, I hate being in the middle, but Emily is a mess. She's been drinking a lot and apparently reconnected with Connor. He's been over a few times. I told her it's a terrible idea, but she says she needs someone who gets the holidays. Just wanted you to know." I stared at the screen for a long time. No jealousy surfaced, only a weary confirmation of what I already understood. I typed back, "Thanks for telling me." Nothing more. The messages from Emily shifted tone after that. First confusion, then complaints. "Emily, he keeps criticizing how I decorated the tree. Says it's trying too hard." "Emily, he drank all the good wine I was saving for New Year's and didn't replace it." "Emily, he says I'm lucky he's spending Christmas with me after everything." Then, late one night between Christmas and New Year's, a voicemail. Her voice thick, words slurring slightly. "Ryan, he's staying here now. Said he needed a place after his roommate kicked him out. But he doesn't help with anything. He just plays video games and orders delivery on my card. I asked him to take down the outdoor lights today and he laughed. Said that's woman stuff. You always did those things without me asking. Why did I ever? I miss you. I'm scared. I saved it, not from lingering affection, but as evidence of the predictable collapse. A week into January, a local news notification pinged on my phone while I was at the gym. Police investigating string of holiday rental frauds. Suspect targeting women through dating apps and past relationships, moving in temporarily, using their credit for expensive purchases, then vanishing. The name, Connor J. Reynolds. The photo matched the one I'd seen years ago on her old social media, the charming smile that never reached his eyes. I closed the article and finished my set. That same night, one final voicemail arrived. Her voice was small, stripped bare. He's gone. Took the emergency cash I kept in the cookie jar. Took the laptop you gave me for my birthday. Police came today. They had his picture. They asked if I knew about the other women. Ryan, everything I said that night was a lie. I was cruel because I was unhappy with myself. You were the best thing in my life and I ruined it. I have nothing now. Please, just talk to me. I listened once more, hearing the raw wreckage. Then I deleted it, blocked her number, and felt the last tether snap. The months that followed were quiet reconstruction. I kept the loft, filled it slowly with things that were only mine. New dishes, books I'd always meant to read, a small balcony planter that survived the winter. I ran every morning along the river, the cold air burning my lungs clean. Work thrived without the constant undercurrent of tension. I earned a promotion in March. By summer, I'd started seeing Claire, a colleague from another department who laughed easily and never expected me to read her mind. We took things slowly, enjoying weekend hikes and quiet dinners. When December rolled around again, Lauren and her husband invited me to their annual holiday party. I hesitated only briefly before accepting. Claire squeezed my hand when I told her the backstory. Sounds like closure, she said. I'll come if you want company. The party was at a restored farmhouse outside town. Strings of white lights draped through bare trees, carols playing softly. Snow fell lightly as we arrived. I saw Emily almost immediately. She stood near the fireplace, holding a mug of cider, looking thinner, eyes scanning the room nervously. When she spotted me, her face went pale. Claire's hand rested lightly on my arm as we greeted hosts and old friends. I was relaxed in a dark green sweater, feeling solid in my own skin. Emily approached after an hour, during a lull while Claire chatted with Lauren near the dessert table. Ryan, she said softly. Emily, my tone was polite, neutral. You look happy. I am. She glanced toward Claire, then back at me, eyes glistening. I read about Connor. Everything came out, the other women, the money he took. I almost lost everything. I've been in therapy. I know what I did was unforgivable, but I'm so sorry. I destroyed the best thing I ever had because I couldn't see it clearly. I waited. She searched my face for the old softness, the willingness to fix things. Instead, I gave her the same calm clarity she'd once thrown at me. Go call your ex, I said quietly. I'm sure he'll satisfy your apologies too. The words hit her like a slap. Recognition dawned, followed by a crushing understanding. This wasn't anger. It was absolute indifference refined into precision. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Tears spilled over. Claire returned then, sliding her arm around my waist with easy affection. Ready for some of that gingerbread? She asked me, smiling that I turned to her, warmth returning instantly. Absolutely. I introduced them briefly. Emily as an old friend from work circles, then guided Claire away with a gentle hand at her back that I didn't look back. Later, stepping into the crisp night air, snowflakes catching in Claire's hair, I felt the final shadow lift. The holidays were bright again, not haunted. Emily and everything she represented had become irrelevant. A closed chapter in a book I no longer needed to reread. And in the quiet snowfall, walking hand in hand with someone who chose peace as much as I did, I knew the most satisfying gift of all was the life I'd built on the other side of letting go.